for this playoff series?
It's exciting. You know, our guys are locked in. They're chomping at the bits to get after it, and so it's exciting to be around that.
Has this break been a good thing or a bad thing, do you think?
You know, I guess I don't look at it as good or bad. It's been fine. You know, we obviously as a staff need time to prepare, and then give the guys an opportunity to take a step away, kind of refresh themselves, their minds, spend some time with family and friends, and then get locked in, hopefully for a long playoff run. So.
Do you feel like you have a one-up being that you were just with the other team?
No, at the end of the day, look, they're the champions, and in my opinion, everything goes through them. They're the last team to win it, and they know all about us, just like we feel like we know all about them. It's about who can go out there and execute better come game time.
When you took this job, did you allow yourself to think, what if? What if these two teams meet in the playoffs?
You know, it's funny you ask that because Brandon Schneider is their team president. And when I took the job, he congratulated me and all that, and thanked me for the time, and he kind of hinted at that, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and at the end we said it'd be great if this ever turns into a rivalry, and we're playing in the postseason and all that. So he texted me yesterday. He goes, just scroll up and look at the text that we had. So he called it. I was part of it, but it was I followed his lead, and so I guess we sort of knew.
You still think it's great?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, to have a chance at a team like that has been historically great, especially right off the bat. If you're a competitor, you want to try to go against the best, and especially, like I said, we weren't playing just to make the playoffs. We're trying to win a championship like everybody else, and I know some people may say, well, let's end up here so we can play this team and that play. I think that's bad karma. It's just me personally. I think the basketball gods will get you if you try to think that way. And at the end of the day, if you really want to be champion, whoever's in front of you, you got to try to beat.
Have you heard any chatter that Raymond now seems like he's trying to get to your team?
No, I'm sure. Yeah, he's won it 5 times. He's got the right to say anything and everything that he wants to say. So if he does, great. If he doesn't, that's fine too.
Mike, I know how fond you are of Draymond, but to that point, like, how do you prepare your team in any way to deal with some of the intensity and the antics and some of the head games he sometimes plays in these series?
Yeah, you obviously you try to tell him as much as you can about each individual player, not just Draymond. You show him film on each individual player. Draymond, he's going to be intense. He's going to be physical. He's going to let you know what he's thinking, every single minute of the game. And all those things, you just got to be able to stay the course. You got to be able to play your game and be just as physical with him on both sides of the ball as he is with you, if not trying to exceed it. So, you guys know how Draymond is. You know how Steph is. You know how Clay is. You know how their whole team is. So there's no secret. It's just about whether or not we can go out and we can execute our game plan, which our guys were locked into today. And if we can, we're going to have to give ourselves a good chance.
What's your talk about all of the guys that we know from their team because they've been in the playoffs so many times? I said you talked about how we know about Steph and Clay and all these guys, but it's because they've been there again and
100%,
and you guys haven't. So
right.
How do you deal with that discrepancy in experience?
I don't think there's any other way but to go through it. You prepare your team as best you can, and you talk to them about the experiences that you've had as a coach and as a player, and you lace them up. You lace them up, and you go out there and you get through it. As we all know, there's no better teacher than experience. But you can talk until you're blue in the face. You can watch film until you're blue in the face. You can drill it until you're blue in the face. It's hard to simulate what it's really going to be like until you actually go through it. And so we've done all those things. Even at our team dinner last night, we had Deli address the group from his perspective of being a champion and going through the playoffs. We had HB address the group from his perspective, and then we had Leandro Barbosa as a player and as a coach address the group. So, again, we can keep throwing stuff at our guys, which we will. But at the end of the day, the best teacher is going to be actually going through it and seeing how you hold up to the different things that come your way, especially when they're adverse things.
You guys played them 12. You guys played them 3 times the first 12 games. How much can you take away from those early season matchups? Do you take a lot from them?
Yeah, you got to go back and you got to watch them, and you got to, because a lot of times teams have tendencies and players have tendencies, and so you just try to see what those are and coach against them. And it doesn't matter if it was early or if it was late; it all matters to a certain degree.
What's
What are
your
the biggest-
opinions on rivalries and NorCal having a rivalry for the first time, or maybe establishing a rivalry for the first time? How good do you think that is for the league?
First of all, I'm not sure if it's a rivalry yet, but if it can end up being that, then fantastic. I think rivalries are great in any competition out there. It adds extra juice to the whole environment or atmosphere whenever 2 teams play each other. So I'm all for it. I wouldn't say it's quite there yet, but if it does get there, that'd be awesome.
What are the biggest differences?
And how experience can be a good thing.
One more time?
You talked about that experience
Yep.
and how playoff experience can be a good thing. Is there a freedom that comes without having some of that experience and going in with
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we are the 3 seed. Yes, we're the 3 seed, and they're the 6 seed. At the end of the day, they probably feel a little bit more pressure than we are, because they are the champions. Everybody expects them to be back in the finals. I mean, nobody even picked us to finish in a playoff spot, and which is fine. We can't change people's minds by telling them, hey, we're better than that. We got to go out and we got to change people's minds by our play and the results of our play. And so, it's the same thing. We're going to go out, we're going to play, we're going to try to play loose and free. And I was fast, loose, and disciplined. It's actually one thing. It's a lot of things that Steve used to say that I say with our group now. We're going to try to play that way and see what happens. And at the end of the day, like I said, the experience that they had, the championship experience that they have, they're going to have to deal with different pressures than what we're dealing with because of the expectations.
Like the guys are talking about physicality as a real emphasis, obviously.
Yep.
That's been a theme from you all season. But how do you coach that, and what are the challenges in going against a team, emphasizing physicality against a team that moves around so much?
You try to be proactive. You try to get into their bodies early, and you can't relax because as soon as you relax or take a breath defensively, it's a wrap. They move too well. Their spacing is too good. They have great passers, and so you have to be in tune for 24 seconds of the shot clock on the defensive side of the ball. And part of that means that you have to dictate the direction that these guys are going by getting into their bodies. And that's when the physicality comes in. Physicality comes in when it comes to defensive rebounding. Loon is one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. And you're not going to be able to just put a body on them. You're going to have to put 2 bodies on them at times. They have guys like DiVincenzo and Wiggs that are 2 of the best offensive rebounding guards in the NBA. So you got to go find them as well. And there's a lot of different aspects of the game where physicality is going to take place, not just defensively but offensively too, with us setting screens and when we cut, if we get bumped, run through the bump. And I mean, I can go on, and you show guys different clips or different times when we do it well and when we don't do it well, or when other teams do it well and when they don't. And then you try to drill it. You incorporate it with whatever you're teaching out on the floor on a daily basis while reminding them.
What are fans saying to you around town? I'm sure you're getting stopped everywhere.
No, the excitement here is unbelievable. It's off the charts. To me, that's what makes this whole thing special, is just to be able to be out in the community and see how excited and elated people are about this playoff run. They're tickled to death. I was at Fats Bistro out in Folsom. A buddy of mine, Frank, is retiring, and so I went to his retirement party. And the staff at Fats Bistro, they were fantastic. And the staffs range from older people like myself to young people that are, obviously just out of high school or in college, first job or whatever. And so to hear their excitement and the stories from the older people saying, yeah, back in the day, I used to go to Arco and it was this and that. And the young people are like, I've never seen us in the playoffs. This is great, So to see those types of reactions from the different types of generations was a lot of fun. And, I'm tickled to death, and hopefully we can keep this excitement going for a long time during this playoff run.
Did you get the banana?